Cell membrane, also called as biomembrane. The learning objectives specified by UHS regarding this lecture is biochemical composition of cell membrane, significance of compositional structure of cell membrane, and what is meant by the fluid mosaic model of the cell membrane. The cell membrane, this is basically the gateway to the cell. Every biochemical molecule which has to enter into the cell is must has to cross the cell membrane. So cell membrane is also called gateway to the cell. The structure of the cell membrane is fluid mosaic model, means the structure is flexible structure, so that this flexible structure helps in the adaptation of the structure of the cell as well as the cell membrane. The This flexible structure is also helpful for the movement of molecules in and out of the cell. The cell membrane, it is lipid bilayer, so this lipid bilayer is helpful in the maintenance of the internal environment of the cell membrane. The thickness of the cell membrane is 7.5 to 10 nanometers. So with the passage of time, several theories were proposed regarding the structure of the cell membrane. Finally, in 1970s, it was proposed that it is lipid bilayer with integration of the different type of proteins. So some proteins which cross the entire thickness of the cell membrane are called integral proteins, and like this integral proteins, and some proteins which are embedded peripherally, these are called peripheral proteins. So regarding the composition, it has almost 55% proteins, 25% phospholipids, 13% cholesterol, other lipids 4%, and 3% carbohydrate. But this composition is not fixed. The composition of the cell membrane is different for the different cells. The cell membrane, its main compositional element is basically the lipid bilayer. So this lipid bilayer, it has the phosphate group, it has a diglyceride, and it has a simple organic molecule which is called as choline. So this lipid bilayer, it has two portion. It has a hydrophilic portion and hydrophobic portion. The hydrophilic portion, it is made up of phosphate portion, while the hydrophobic portion, it is made up of the fatty acid chain. So the hydrophilic portion is directed outwards. This is the hydrophilic portion of the cell membrane. This is directed outwards facing the external environment, while this is the hydrophobic portion of the cell membrane, which is directed, this hydrophobic portion which is made up of the hydrocarbon chain, it is directed inwards. This is again the diagrammatic explanation of the lipid bilayer. So this structure of the cell membrane, it basically helps in and out of the movement of the molecule, as well as it is helpful in the maintenance of the rapid fluctuation of the structure of the cell membrane and make it flexible. The different structures are present in the cell membrane, like cholesterol, and different type of fatty acids are present in the cell membrane, and these fatty acids are phosphatidic acid, these are the phosphatidyl glycerol, phosphatidyl ethanolamine, choline, serine, and inositol. The composition as well as percentage composition of these fatty acids is different in different types of cell membrane. Cholesterol, it is basically another important structural element of the cell membrane. Cholesterol, it is responsible for the maintenance of the fluidity of the cell membrane and fluid mosaic model, or we can say the flexible structure of the cell membrane. Glycolipids are also present in the cell membrane. Glycolipids, basically there are three types of glycolipids: the sphingoglycolipids, glycerol glycolipids, and glycosyl phosphatidyl inositol. These glycolipids basically they are important in cell signaling pathways. Also, these glycolipids, they provide receptor sites for the attachment of the antigens to the cell membranes. So sphingolipids are also present in the cell membrane. Sphingolipids, basically these are complex lipids which are present in the cell membrane, and these cell membrane, basically these sphingolipids, they are also important in cell signaling pathway. As we know that cell membrane, it is made up of lipid bilayer which has outer end which is made up of phosphate. So the outer of the cell membrane is negatively charged. So that's why many substances which are negatively charged, they are repelled by the cell membrane. Lipid rafts, these are the small areas made up of sphingolipids and cholesterol present in the cell membrane, and the biomedical significance of this structure is that it is involved in the cell signaling pathways. Cavoli is almost 50 to 100 nanometer invagination of plasma membrane, and it is richly supplied with the sphingolipid as well as the cholesterol. It is also important role in the cell signaling. So here you can say that this is the lipid raft, and this is basically this invagination, it is called the cavoli. Proteins, as I had told you, the two type of proteins, the integral proteins as well as the peripheral proteins. Integral proteins, they traverse the whole thickness of the cell membrane, and they provide ion channels as well as the receptors and also adherent sites for the attachment of the molecules, while peripheral proteins, they are present peripherally, and they provide receptor sites for the attachment of substances as well as they are important in signaling pathways. So this is the whole structure of the cell membrane, and it shows what we had discussed about the cell membrane up till now. Again, the integral protein, the type of the structure present in this integral protein is usually alpha helix and beta strands. And peripheral proteins are present peripherally, and basically they provide receptor sites for the attachment of the substances. And this is again the structure of the cell membrane. Glycocalyx are loose type of the carbohydrate coat which is present on the outer covering of the cell membrane. It is made up of the proteoglycans, glycoproteins, and glycolipids. They are negatively charged substances, and they provide receptor sites for the attachment of the substances. So this is basically the lipid bilayer, which is showing the diagrammatic explanation that how cell membrane behaves. So thank you so much.